Alex Kazam.
I'm so lost. What happened?
I totally fucked up the intro again, bro.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's all right.
It's okay.
Good.
That's what live radio is all about. I don't know what we call this anymore, but brother, thanks for taking the time again. We've restarted. No, we're not live. No, we're live. No, we're not. Okay, no, we could start again. Okay, we got music. We don't have music.
You started laughing, and I thought maybe we were just streaming all of that, from the first time when you said I was a drive-by.
We were supposed to be streaming, but it didn't work out so well. And yeah, so let me just make sure we're live over here. It was user interface problems is what I call it. My computer guy used to call it when I was an idiot. And okay, we're live. So you can share this now, and you can share it on Twitter. I saw you just did something on Facebook. So was that you sharing the live feed?
I Facebooked. What did I Facebook? I just Facebooked your profile there.
Oh, okay.
But I can share the live feed.
Yeah, share the live feed.
Let's
and
do
then
that.
Your peeps will know it, and then get a tweet in you too. You can pimp that out, and then this is where you can find Alex Kazam on Twitter. No, sorry, this is YouTube right here. This is a channel. Go check it out. Sub. We got to get him up to 1,000 subs so we can get him monetized, and he's going to start putting out some new content on the daily, hopefully, or something. Weekly, on the monthly, on the something. You got to be on the regular.
Weekly is a good.
Here you can find him on Facebook. And then on the Twitter, he's at Witty Magic. At Witty Magic is Alex Kazam, and he's a friend of mine. I think we can safely say that without turning too many people off. Thanks for your time, man. It was good getting caught up last week. That was a session for me because I drank. You didn't.
Yeah, no, I just
and you were here for like 8 or 9 hours.
It's great. It's great. I got to.
And then I realized that at a beer an hour.
Yeah.
By the time you left, I had 10 in me. I was fine. I'm slow drinking, but
yeah, that's exactly where I was going. I was saying progressively see the beer dwindle, but you were the exact same person. I was like, this is cool, man.
I have such a high tolerance for that stuff normally. I can't
I mean, at your height,
6
foot airplane hunk.
It's my tolerance has been receding a little bit because I haven't been drinking that much. So now I have a few drinks, even a few beer, and I'm like, I can feel that one. Anyways, what have you been up to, brother? Tell us about what's been going on I want to talk about some of the pandemic and some of what you've been up to. But when we fall started last time, you started going. And you started with a story about your mentor, so I know that's probably at the top of your mind. So let's pick up on that again.
I did it. Yeah, I did do that, and good memory. All 7 minutes ago. I don't know why I'm saying good memory, but I feel like you have a lot going on. I always respect people that can live cast. You got like 4 monitors. I almost want to take a picture of your rocket ship here, your battle station. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. You said fake book, and it reminded me of Paul Wildbaum, rest his soul. He passed away August 15th. And this guy could hold a room's attention for 45 to 75 minutes, completely silent, using no words, but also no crude humor. It was all clean cut and white collar type humor, no blue collar, no swearing, etc. And one of my favorite things he ever said to me, because it was just so off the cuff, we were in a cafe or something, and I was talking about the importance of social media, because as social media became a thing, YouTube and Facebook, even email, Paul was really busy throughout the 80s and 90s, and then as the 2000s hit, and especially kind of the 2010s, he wasn't as busy because the world evolved. So he didn't like it. He didn't keep up with the technology. Well, he had a Facebook account, he had a website, and he had a guy that would do it, but Paul was from a different age. So I remember us sitting in a cafe kind of talking about the change in the world, and I always offered to help however I could, and I would help him with some of the computery stuff. And I remember him saying, it's all well and great, Alex. You got 5,000 friends on Facebook, but where is one of them we need to borrow $20? And I love that. When you said fake book, it just reminded me of Paul. So that's at the top of my list, because I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours with Paul over the past, let's say, 4 or 5 years, and these are, a lot of them were paid hours because I hired him as a consultant and to mentor me. And then some of them, of course, were not paid. But that always sucks, losing someone. So there's that. But otherwise, on the up and up, man. Some shows coming through. Show coming up the end of this month, and then September 11th, next one, Showtime, downtown St. Catharines. So that'll be the 11th of September, and then on the 28th we got Camp Cataract in Niagara Falls, which I'm stoked for because that'll be the
Adam
first.
Bueller, Thunderclap.
Yeah,
Love
exactly.
That guy. I got to check the place out. I haven't seen it yet. I had
Buller's
many
a gem.
invites to go down there, but I don't know. I'm a social retard these days. I just don't. I'm not feeling it at all.
That's fair. I mean, when you have a setup like this, and you just this streaming, and you got your show, you don't have to go anywhere. You can do everything from the comfort of your home.
No, it's not even that. It's just more social. I just don't
see
feel like it, man. And then it's just easier to do nothing than it is to make an effort and go see someone or support someone. And I used to be that guy. Like I showed up to all the live shows that I could, type of thing, back in the day, but I'm just not feeling it these days. So it'll come around. Whatever it is that's working on me, it'll pass.
Change.
Pull that mic up just a little closer to you.
Absolutely.
Just so we're sure.
Look at that.
So how you been finding this lockdown? It's could have been, I know it's been tough on everyone's business, and the mind fuck has been really kind of. I don't know. I'm just like, well, my life hasn't changed.
Yeah,
but it has from the standpoint of your social crew. You're getting out there, and like I said, if I force myself to go and get out, then I end up having a good time. There's very few times. I remember the times when I go, oh, see, I should have just stayed home.
Yeah.
But then even that's never too much of an issue. So it's usually like when you get out and you're with your homies or you're fulfilling your purpose or you're working or whatever, you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But when you haven't been doing it for months, it's just like, well, you forget about it, right?
For sure.
So
it's different. I think there was a question in there, so I'll come to the question. But I think one thing that I wanted to mention to you when you said not really going out is you've heard of FOMO, right? The fear of missing out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I label it because I said it to a couple people lately and they didn't know what FOMO was, and I was like, that's fair. I just haven't heard the expression. But my mouth, I want to stretch my mouth because my mouth feels lazy right now. I feel like I'm mumbling my words. I brought water too, and then I totally forgot. Thanks, man. Look at that. We're definitely in 2 separate rooms.
it's just a Zoom call, dude.
I just have someone perfectly timed with the arm that kind of looks like yours to come in and set the water down. This whole thing is just an illusion.
And the way I've got it, like when I look this way, it looks like I'm looking at you on the screen, and then you're looking this way.
So I should look at the camera is what you're saying. This because I keep looking at you. Okay.
That's fine.
All right. So FOMO, so fear of missing out. Okay, thank you. The water helped me not mumble, so I feel like I was mumbling. This chair, it's such a relaxing chair, I have ADOLS, by the way, attention deficit. Oh, look, squirrel. It's just, we'll get to the point.
Valium-soaked chair.
Valium-soaked, just give me a couple Quaaludes. Yeah. JOMO, my friend told me about JOMO. That's where I was going with that. So JOMO, so the joy of missing out. So, you said there's those times where you kind of kick yourself, you go, I should have stayed home. I think it's a valid point when you say, I just haven't been feeling it. And that's okay. Like, that's totally valid. I think the danger is when you stay in that realm too long and you start to say, oh, what I'm feeling is valid. Because that is true to an extent. But then when you start to just stand in those same feelings and they don't do anything for you, if you're perfectly happy at home, not going out and supporting live events anymore and just kind of staying in your own shell, if you're happy and content and not depressed doing that, then absolutely those feelings are valid. But I think some people, people they frown on contentment. They don't like when people are content. I have no problem with contentment. If you're genuinely content, then I'm happy for you. The problem I think is that a lot of people they come off like they're, they say that they're content, but they're not. They're not happy at all, and I think they try to put it on. So are you content? I guess at the end of the day. And for me, pandemic. I'm happy to be here, man, because it was not good for a while. I spiraled.
Yeah?
Yeah. So
what's that look like?
Drinking
Oh yeah, I noticed I've been drinking a little bit more. Not so much now, but like when it first hit or what. And I haven't been a drinker much lately.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, it's a few days in a row now I've been drinking. And now I've been keeping a diary too.
Yeah.
Not because, well, just because I've been forced to, right?
Yeah.
I've got this app that every day asks me, what'd you do?
Yeah.
When'd you do it?
It's great.
Did you sleep in your bed?
Yeah.
Your own bed? Did you drink coffee? Did you smoke weed? Did you do what it asked me if I took anti-inflammatories? I don't know what that's got to do with anything. Did you drink coffee? All that kind of stuff. So did you drink alcohol? And what time did you quit? And how many did you have? And I noticed that because I've been faithful with doing this thing that's tracking, like it's kind of like a fitness tracker, but it tracks your heart rate and workouts and
almost like a habit tracker.
Well, yeah, because I haven't had this problem, but if you have sex, it comes up and says, "Oh, a recognized activity." What was it? So for me lately, it's just been swimming.
Wow.
But then
is that connected to like a Fitbit? Wow.
Yeah. Whoop.
It's called Whoop.
Yeah,
I got to check it out.
Band.
That's very cool. And it keeps you on track.
Well, I haven't been doing anything to stay or keep on track, but it's just pretty cool as far as like when I feel my heart rate going through the roof, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm at 100 beats.
Cool.
I would never, like it's instant, you know what I mean? When I feel anxious or I'm feeling stressed or I'm feeling, and it automatically logs when you go to sleep too. So, and then it shows you every time you wake up, like I average 10 to 12 disturbances a night, which I guess is pretty normal.
Okay.
But then I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and so it shows me that too.
Yeah.
And then
you do some work.
If I ever nap, it picks that up and says, "Oh, you napped. Here's your nap." And then it totals your sleep.
That's
and then
cool.
it tells you, you're gonna have a good day today because you slept last night, or you're not gonna have a good day today because you didn't get your sleep.
Yeah.
One day last week I got 2 hours sleep, and it said, just look out today. You're not going to be feeling it. You're not going to be peak performance today.
Yeah, because you're on
and
2 hours.
The strange thing was, if I didn't have the app to tell me you're not going to have a good day today, I wouldn't even notice. Like, I know I went to bed late, and I get up pretty much the same time every day, but I wasn't feeling like, I'm exhausted today. So I don't know, but anyways, it's been interesting because the diary is there, and so that every day that I go to punch in my activity, it tells me yes or no to every question that I've answered over the last few months.
Cool.
So I've been forced into the diary mode of it. So.
Yeah.
It's been.
I love that, man. I think that's one of the beauties of technology, and it's interesting. I found what you said about when it tells you you're not gonna have a great day, and then you didn't feel that. You didn't feel like you were having a bad day. That's interesting because that kind of gives me hope in the fact that humanity can still survive even if all our technology crashes and burns tomorrow. Because these nice little enhancements, right? If you think about it, like 10,000 years ago, we didn't have Fitbits, right, or like fancy apps. So. And yet people still got on. And now we have new challenges. Granted, there's more stressors, there's more things because of, evolution and different changes and shifts in technology and humanity. I think it's really interesting that, the parking assist is one that I come back to a lot. Backup cameras, right? It's like I have car lover friends that are just such purists that are like, use your goddamn neck, you fool, right? And it's kind of true. Like even the vehicle safety stuff tells you don't just rely on this camera, like still turn your head. But every time I get into a car where someone has all that stuff, they don't turn their heads anymore. They just rely on all this technology. And that's fine, I guess, as long as they're safe. I still turn my head. If I'm, I had a rental vehicle and it had all this fancy camera and stuff, and I don't know, relying on it. So my point with that is with this app, man, that's cool. Because for me, that downward spiral, I think, had I logged even just analog, and kept a little journal of how much I was consuming, I'd never had a problem with the overconsumption of alcohol. I work in entertainment. I have my whole life. And I was very aware, thanks to a guy like Danny Z and thanks to mentors, Paul and others growing up, they said, remember, you're paid to bring the party. You're not paid to take part in it. And that's great. I know all these DJs that they just get there and they just get hammered throughout their set. And by the end of the night, they're just sloppy and they're throwing stuff around. And it's unprofessional. I know DJs that, will party at the end of the night with their host or their client, but it's once they're done. It's after that 2 a.m. cutoff or 3 a.m. cutoff, wherever they are. So yeah, man, I think that's really really valid, and I think that Peter Drucker, I think he's like a personnel management guy out of New York City, but he has a quote, and he says, "Whatever can be measured can be managed," and I quote him a lot because it's one of my favorite quotes. A lot. It comes up so much, but I really like that because there was a really cool point where someone was trying to lose weight. And a guy told them, he basically said, Joe's trying to lose weight. And this guy says to Joe, "I don't want you to lose weight. I want you to just record everything that you're eating for a month in a diary, in an app, whatever you want." And what was really interesting is that over that first month, Joe started to drop weight. And he was actually told, if your weight starts to fluctuate, try to get it back up. So he's telling Joe, don't try to lose weight actively. Like if you see it going down, you're trying to like develop healthier habits, or you didn't eat. Try to get your weight back up if you start to see it go down. It might have been 3 months. So it might have been a little bit longer. This experiment. It wasn't a month. I think it was 3 months. Eventually, this Joe guy, because unconsciously he had decided, I want to lose weight, and now someone's telling him, measure your weight all the time, frequently, but keep it at that weight. He now it's what I call a dirty goal. It's cognitive dissonance, right? Which is just just a fancy word for saying dirty goal, because his unconscious wants something else from his conscious, and unconsciously he knows that he's not at a healthy point health wise. So I think it's really neat because when you do measure, like you just said, I've been drinking a lot lately. I think that the act of measuring something, I think will change the behavior, right? It's kind of like the Schrodinger's cat principle, right? Just the act of observation will change. So I don't know. It's pretty neat, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone's talking about mindfulness now, and I think that's part of it. And a friend of mine always says, journal, write the stuff down, because when you're struggling and you write down, I'm struggling, and then a month later you look back at it and you go, struggling over that? Like you're like,
gives you perspective.
What was I feeling then? Like, why was I so soft, or why was I letting that bug me? Right. And I haven't had the discipline to keep it rolling not because anything, but I think there's value there, especially from hindsight, looking back and going, oh, look at these weeks where I was saying the same thing over and over, and what was up there, So I think it can be helpful to be mindful, and I think that's what you're talking about, is just don't even try, just keep track, and it makes you mindful, and then you're mindful. It's like anything else. Once you get on the road to wellness, it starts to snowball. But also, if you go down and Matthew James Blake just said, I went down a few black holes with the booze, and here's another friend of mine that's a musician.
I know Matthew. Yeah, super talented musician.
Just brilliant. And anyway, it's been a tough go for a lot of people, and I've been saying since this thing broke that that lockdown's going to kill way more people than the disease ever will.
Oh yeah.
Or the virus or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a conversation. How deep are we going today?
Well, and we got into this already, and sometimes like I don't understand like mental health issues. I know we all suffer from them at some level, and I'm no different than anyone else. Sometimes I have bad days. Sometimes I'm emotional. Sometimes I don't find I'm too like this. I think I'm pretty steady when it comes to that kind of stuff. But your internal mood and your self dialogue and stuff like that, I think it's been had a microscope put on it, so that. And this is the thing about isolation, if you practice isolation enough, it becomes normal.
Yeah. And
then you become a monster.
Yeah.
Because you forget.
Yeah.
And now we can't hug, we can't touch, we can't bury our dead, we can't go to church, we can go to Costco. And I'm just, it's been really in my head lately is these false narratives that so many lemmings are just kind of like, wear the mask. I'm not fucking wearing your mask.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not wearing it. Ever, anywhere.
So let me pause you there, man. If you don't mind, I'm going to jump in for a second.
Hit it.
False narratives. I wanted to pause you there and just jump in because that. I'm speaking openly about the hole I went down because, to be very honest with you, for a long time I was very scared of being vulnerable like this and speaking honestly on camera where it's recorded and forever the world can access. But in a way, I always knew this consciously, but I didn't act on it. These become our logs. These cameras, these videos, they become like a diary. And I started to spiral downwards because I let go a lot of the things that were healthy and things that kind of kept me on routine, my essentials, right? The Costco's open, Walmart's open because those are essentials, essential needs, right? Essential
liquor
services.
Store.
Right. So my essentials are, for some people might be going to church. For me, it's being around people and performing for them. That to me, I consider that essential for this guy, for the mental health aspect. So I wanted to jump in at false narrative because month of April, I did a vlog every day for the month of April. So in San Francisco, I don't remember when, but I think it was part of VidCon or Comic-Con, but maybe early 2000s, they started this, bunch of YouTubers started Vita, right? So vlog every day in April.
Oh.
And I did that.
Here it is right here. You got 30, 29, 28.
Yeah, I'm going to go through and
27, 26, 25, 24, and then it stops.
Yeah, I need to go republish them. I privatize them for a minute there.
Yeah.
I need to go make them public again.
All right, okay.
Go
check them out here anyway.
Yeah, there's at least 6 to get to be able to start it. But
yeah.
That was awesome, man, because that month, that was kind of, so March was like the start of self-isolation, and then by April, I didn't feel, I wasn't in a hole. I wasn't drinking every day. I wasn't going down a black hole because every day I was forced to create content. I was forced to get up off my ass and do something, not feel sorry for myself, not be sad. And although the world was hurting and I was hurting, I was very scared. It was this really neat thing where every day I had to log. But I will say by the end of it, because I was editing everything and I was editing it vlog style, right? So sharp cuts to the breath, right? Almost like how I'm speaking right now. I'm trying to
I want to try that. I'm too fond of this format. You know what I mean?
I love this format.
And the ahs and the ums and the stutters and the fuck ups and the fails and the music doesn't load and we're live, we're not live. Like I don't want to cut that out. And I had a comment on YouTube. I've got a Jim Fannon Show page on YouTube, and I did some rant on Tim Pool and Gavin McInnes and whatever, and it's 56 minutes, and the title's just like my take on Tim Pool, Gavin McInnes, and whatever. So dude goes like, what the, it took you 30, at 34 minutes, you start talking about the topic I came to, so like succinct is like gold out here. Try and tighten it up, and I know the whole Mark Dice style or roaming millennial. It's like cut, and they, even Soph does real hard cuts.
Yeah,
and it's great. It makes for a great message, but it just makes it feel so sterile.
It's consumable yet sterile. That's exactly what I was about to say. It's very consumable. It's look at TikTok, right? And so I want to come back to false narrative because that's still a great point, because I think that's really at the core of all of this and at the core of what we're all feeling is false narrative. Like, what does that mean? But I think it's like that lack of narrative. So TikTok as an app has grown so quickly. I have a friend who has been talking about writing a book. And every time I follow up with him and say, how's the book coming along?
He gets angry at you?
He gets pissed off because he goes,
it's not me, is it?
You know what? No. But it might as well be you. But this particular guy, he's not sure of the medium, and he's getting caught up on, I don't know if I should put more time into this because nobody reads books anymore. And I go, what? Like, if that were true, Amazon's sales would plummet, Chapters Indigo would be shut down. I mean, people obviously still read books. And it's too bad because I think you get these comments of, oh, succinct is like gold. Yes, when you're on the internet, most of the time, if I'm wanting to get to a specific topic, which in that case it sounded like he wanted a specific topic, then okay. What I think is cool on our end, especially because we're long form guys, is to go in and do like the timestamp tagging.
Right.
At this point we talk about this. I love that because that'll save me time, and I like when people do that. Mm-hmm. I think that would help views as well. I'm remembering this for myself too, but I totally agree, man. Because just because it's consumable doesn't mean it's right. Mm-hmm. And I love what people can do with TikTok. I love the creativity that I've seen. I love Twitter, when it first came out, and comedians on Twitter. I think it was Ricky Gervais. It was someone who said, I love Twitter because it forces you to be witty in 140 characters, right? Back when Twitter was just the 140. And It's true, because Paul always said that. If you can say it in 2 words, why say it in 20? And I'm bad for that. I go to 20 because the 20 helps me find those 2 important words. Mm-hmm. That to me is worth the 56 minutes.
And it's different when you're on stage with the red lights on or the mics are live or whatever. Your brain does get mushy. Like, I forget people's names that I shouldn't forget. You know, I say things I don't sound right, like, might necessarily not mean them, but like when the lights are on, that's what people don't get. And that's what I was talking about when Don Cherry got fired. It's like, he's fired for saying you people, like, won't spend $2 to buy a poppy. You know how hard it is to broadcast when the camera's tight in like this on the shot and the red light's on and everyone's quiet, and like the set is a stressful place for your mind to process everything else that's going on. And even when I do interviews, it's hard to really stay present to the conversation that we're having, because I'm thinking, okay, well, what am I going to pull up next? When's my commercial coming? When,
right.
Is the sound right? Geez, are we broadcasting? Oh, I did. Like, I haven't even checked the sound yet. Sounds okay. But these are, you got 100 things and you're like, wow, I feel like you got a lot going on. Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Look at this fucking place. Like,
Absolutely.
seriously.
Absolutely.
It looks like, like air traffic control.
Absolutely, man.
And
you're doing everything yourself too, which kudos to you and hats off, because so bringing up, let's see, Don Cherry, he just has to perform, right? That's what people that would agree with him being fired might say in retort. I'm trying to argue both sides because I love it. Even just performing, never mind all the production side that you're talking about in this particular instance with you and I, because that's a whole different ball game. And mind you, you're okay to have some screw ups, and you're okay to do a dry fire and start at 3:06, not 3 o'clock, because you don't have someone paying hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars for you to sharp start 3 and be on the air. It's not really of consequence. And if you start making that money, of course, now you have a team either remotely or present that can help you. That's different. But there are people I know, because I can already hear their voices and their comments coming through. Oh, well, Don Cherry said that and da-da-da-da. When you said the lights go on, that to me is enough. With you running this whole production, I mean, you have years of broadcasting experience, so I get that personally. No, give me one duty. I know my mind, and it's perform.
And that's what it was like when I was on the radio station, because you had the producer, you had the commercials, you had everything going up, you had the levels there. All I had to do was the mic and take care of my guests and book the show and produce, and I did a lot more than that. But in that moment, still, with other people doing the red lights on, it's a different world, man. Huge. It's your brain is mushy.
Huge.
Like, it just,
and you're not in the moment. And that's what I love about broadcast. That's what I love about performing, because people say, oh, you hit the state of flow, and they I think a lot of people presume, unless you've done it, there's no way to explain this, but I'm going to try my darndest, because again, I would like to remember this in a few years, because you just hit me with a really cool inspiration.
The state of flow is when you're sinking every ball on the table, just not even trying. You're in the zone.
That zone.
And they say that as soon as you recognize, oh, I'm in the flow, you're out.
You're out, right. And I would say that successful performers, for me, that state of flow, people say, well, you have to be present, you have to be mindful. And we toss these words around now because they're hashtags and they're hip. But when you really kind of go down to it, you be present. Being present is not the same as being in a flow state. And I think that's where I would go to a guy like Don Cherry's defense. Or there's numerous people that in broadcasting have said really funny, really embarrassing, or really hurtful things. And they get like blackballed, and you go, dude, what have you done? Because performing, like even right now, I'm thinking about what we were talking about, this false narrative thing, which is a point that I still want to close. I'm thinking about what you might say next. I'm thinking about who might be watching or comments. You're reading comments, and it's past, present, future, constantly in this state of flow. We're constantly flowing. Now I'm bringing it up, so it's hard for me to do it. To your point, right? Once you think about it, it's over. It's wild. So. Yeah, man. I mean, and at the end of the day, coming back to that false narrative thing, it's the story we're telling ourselves. And I think that the fact that I look at a guy like Peter Mansbridge, and I go, man, this guy, like, how many years is his career? And he just goes and goes. Don Cherry, though, same thing, boom, 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 and then he says something, it upsets people, and then he's politely asked to leave. Show me one other time where he said something that.
Well, he said "you people" an awful lot. Like, this is one of his sayings that he says, "you people," but he's, I know he used it in the context, or maybe not. Maybe they assumed the context he was talking about immigrants or whatever, but like, it didn't have to be that way. And it's funny because somebody went and dragged up another video of him standing on the ice and leaning on a hockey stick in front of a net, and he was talking. I can't remember what the topic was, but he said "you people" like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
Like, this is one of his things.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I don't know.
So, and I put myself in this class too. We're just looking for something to be offended by, outraged by. And guess what? I find something every day.
Yeah.
And this is why, I said to a friend of mine the other day, try and tell me that social media is not harming mental health. And she says, well, I can't say that because I'm not a liar. Like, I see, like yesterday, I did a little bit of trolling in the morning.
Sure.
On Twitter.
Good old morning troll.
Whatever. And then at 10 o'clock, I don't know what time it was, but around 10 a.m., I just stopped checking my notifications. Well, by the end of the day, I had almost 300 notifications. Now, I don't have a very big account. I'm just coming up on 10,000 followers.
Oh, just 10,000 followers.
I mean, that's pretty big compared to anything I've ever had before as far as Twitter goes. But, like, there's all kinds of nobodies out there with 100,000.
Sure.
Anyway.
Sure.
Just not reading my notifications made me feel better.
Mm-hmm. There's science behind
I can't
it. There's
imagine
actual science now.
Staying off it completely. Like, here's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start using social media for what it was designed for a guy like me, which is branding and marketing and promotion. Yeah. And this is why lately, like especially on Facebook, I post from another app. So I have to go to Facebook to post. Right? I read an article, I push share, it goes to my Facebook. I don't need to go there to read the comments. I don't need to go there to see how many people looked at it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So even that I've been pulling back from, but I thought to myself today, geez, 12 hours off of notifications. Oh, and you know how hard it is not to click the thing that says 240 notifications?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like that red little thing? So, and it's designed, all day, I'm like, okay, let me see how long I can stay off this and how fast it goes up and what number I get to. It was kind of like a game. I almost pushed notifications hundreds of times.
Yeah.
I had to, and it wasn't like it was all that important to me. I just was kind of playing a game with myself. But, at the end of the day, I'm like, shit. Like, just not reading notifications was better for me today. Imagine if I didn't get my news from Twitter on all these angry accounts, But.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's not even a double-edged, I was going to say it's a double-edged sword, but it's not even a double-edged sword. It's this thing of you can still win at this game, and it's a very dangerous game. And when I say this game, I mean the social media and the social networking aspect. I think you can still win. You say, I'm going to use it for what it's designed for a guy my age and my type of life or whatever. You said branding and marketing. I think it's important to still retain a certain humanity aspect where I genuinely like to see certain people's content and interact with it. And I enjoy that, and I try my utmost to be as positive as I can when I'm interacting with it. You say troll. I don't think I've ever trolled anyone. I don't know that I've ever done that because I just try to say something. Like if it's not bringing this person up, I'm just not going to say it. But that's just been my approach. But I'm in a different brand. I'm in a different category than you are because what you do, the Don Cherry thing, full transparency. Never seen the clip. I read about it. I heard about it. People talk about it. Excuse me. Fannon, I stopped watching the news 7 years ago.
Oh, me too.
I stopped, and
because I couldn't monitor what my eyes saw. So if I was watching ABC Eyewitness News at a Buffalo, murder, stabbing, baby found in dumpster, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, I can't. So I can't. I don't watch local CHCH. My dad watches every day. Yeah. And so I started getting my news on the internet, and then. Bork, which I haven't gone to in a long time, Bork.org was because he's political. And then the headlines, you get to at least choose which headlines you click on, but you're not in control of which headlines you read. So, but Twitter, it's just whatever comes into your feed.
Yeah. And see, and that's just it. For me, it's not even about watching. It's about just subscribing to it. I have, he'll appreciate this. So push notifications, icon badges, all the Apple News or the Samsung, whatever, all of it's shut off. And here's how someone framed it for me, and I just listened to them.
You're right, man. Turning my notification badges off on Facebook when I used to be more active and get more action, like, as soon as you see the red number, you're right fucking back on it.
I mean, think about it.
You can't. It's
color?
like the phone ringing and you're not answering it. Who does, you know? Back in the day, anyway,
Absolutely. What color is it most of the time? You know, in all these different apps, let's say it's red or blue. I'm thinking of the actual colors. Yeah. Just like basic.
It's always red.
Just perceptual psychology. It's always red, or it's a high contrast, right? It's something sticking out at something else. It's not subtle. It's very much like there. Just that alone, I'm gonna have to find my source, and I'll make a note to send this to you, because I don't want to insult or demean soldiers in any way when I say this, but there was a study done, and I need to find out with more information, as I said, because I don't want to demean the military. Notifications coming up on a phone throughout the day, they measured what it does to your brain activity, and they compared it to a soldier at war, like in live combat, and the differences were not that great. So you have a guy who's experiencing like hand grenade and this, and they're measuring like, what is that stress, right? Because we know, okay, post-traumatic stress disorder, real thing. What creates that? So they measured the stress of these soldiers. They measured with a certain group, and I have to find this where this was, because right now I'm just kind of talking on my ass, and I don't like doing that.
It's amazing what you retain and how long you retain it, and you can't quote the source. Like I was saying to somebody the other day, and I can't find it now because COVID's kind of blurred all the. You can't search this kind of stuff. But I was always told, if you're in an elevator with someone that has a cold and they're coughing and sneezing and whatever, like in your presence, as long as they don't cough in your eye or or you touch something that they've touched, the chances of you getting an airborne virus are almost nil. Yeah. But I can't find it now. But at one time I was pretty sure about that, and it's weird how. The content will stay with you, and you've cemented it there because you know it came from a solid source.
Huge.
But then 25 years later, how do you go and find the source?
Huge.
So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no. I want to say that this is from, and if I'm completely misremembering, I hope someone corrects me, and I hope someone trolls me, but I believe it might be from Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek, and he might actually bring it up there, because Tim Ferriss is a huge advocate of, he goes, yeah, time management is one thing, but attention management, what can you afford to pay attention to? Because we keep talking about, time, where's your time going? My time. Time is invaluable. Time is this.
Time is money.
Right. Well, yeah.
I fell for that one
and
for a while.
Yeah, no, time is not money, man. Time is invaluable. I think I really agree with that. But beside that, what I think people, because time is still a construct, right? We forget that, but it's a construct. It's a very
construct's
convenient
become
one.
a bad word now. Everything's a construct.
Well, it's okay. So
gender's
but let's say, okay, so it's an invention, though. I mean, time. Yes, time flows, but measuring it is something we created. It's not like not like it was just there, and this is something we no. A day is 24 hours, and there's science behind it. It makes sense. It's very convenient, right? It's not stupid. The sun goes up, the sun comes down. I get it, and I agree with it. But outside of all that, where is your attention going? And I think it is from Tim Ferriss's book, because that's what the cortisol level, and that's right. That's where my point was going with that. Is the bing, bing, like if you like the
dopamine,
the water drop torture. Right? You can severely fuck somebody up just by dropping a drop of water on their head. Boop. Right? Like they did this. You just drop them in. Boop. That's what it reminds me of, right? It's just constant. It's just like ding, ding. Right?
Yeah, but cortisol, I don't know the difference, but they always talk about dopamine, like that little tweak,
Okay, yeah.
little rush.
So dopamine is the
little
pleasure response, right?
Yep.
So a cocaine or heroin addict, they're looking for that dopamine fix. Cortisol is your stress response, the stress hormone in the body.
Oh, right, okay.
So cortisol, if your cortisol levels are messed up, it'll start to affect your sleep patterns. Some degree of cortisol is great for us, and obviously it's there because it needs to be. But if you start screwing with your cortisol too heavily, your sleep gets messed up. Your anxiety, general mood can become in disarray. So I mean, it was so nice. I just got back from. I told you I was with Tiff and my friend Jerry came out to visit.
No names. We talked about this.
I was with Joe and John. Oh man, yeah. Almost.
Tiff doesn't need the aggravation of what?
Yeah.
What? I heard you were talking about me on that show the other day.
Yeah. No, it's yeah.
Totally go there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go down. Yeah. But just having the phone, and I had my phone in airplane mode most of the time, and it was so nice, just like exploring, hiking, swimming, and then like I would come out of the water and not check my phone, like I would just dry off, just chill in the sun for a bit, like. It sounds so
Get
stupid.
bored.
Yeah. Get
Sit
bored.
there and go,
Yeah.
wow, I'm really not doing anything right now, because as soon as you're like, I'm never bored. And I use it as a crutch because I'm learning something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming up with content. I'm becoming more Shut up.
Yeah.
You're an addict.
Actors,
that's what you are.
A lot of my actor friends do that too.
It sounds
I'll say,
like
what did you get up to? And they watch movies. Why are you watching so many movies? I'm doing research for a role.
Just like
I'm
an
learning.
addict. You might as well be an alcoholic or a drug addict. Go, no, I'm not. I'm just getting my groove on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just denial. Yeah, no, I'm glad you're aware of it, man, because it is toxic, and and yet it's so beautiful because the possibility is endless. You can do so much. This thing here, this specific phone. As I said, I was with my buddy here, the camping. He came out to visit. He lives out in Windsor, but he works in graphic design and a videographer, and he said that phone is a magic wand. What you have there is a magic wand, and he's not just saying that because of, the fact that I'm a magician. He's saying that because as some of the stuff he showed me, I went, oh, yeah, like that is a magic wand. This is ridiculous. I mean, never mind. There was a movie that was released fairly recently that was all shot on iPhone, right? Like that's already been done. I'm getting to the point. I mean, photographers that want to print whatever they're shooting, there is definitely an advantage if you're doing that in the real world to buying a camera. I was a hobbyist for a long time. I gotta be honest, man. I have a nice like DSLR. I mean, it's nice-ish, it's like entry level like DSLR. I don't bring it anymore because this thing in my pocket is so capable. So there are these wonderful advantages, and I think as long as we're aware, oh, okay, this can be really dangerous. This can be this can be toxic. Just use it for good. Use it to create change and, actually generate content, actually learn something, Duolingo or some of these language learning apps or mindfulness apps. I think there's great advantages to them. But just sitting there and scrolling. Duolingo, yeah.
We talked about this before and I didn't pick up on it. Did you mention this before?
I might have.
Okay, what is it?
Duolingo, Duolingo. It's this language learning app.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think it's the end all be all, if I'm being completely frank, because I love languages. You know that about me. I've always loved languages. I think it's a great starting point, but it's like flashcards and interactive stuff. You can speak into it. It'll judge how well you're speaking this new phrase that you're learning in whatever new language you're trying to learn. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. But you take that the app side and you combine it with real life, actually going and speaking with someone, seeking out a conversational partner. And I think you could do really good. Do really well. Wow.
And this is the other thing, too, I get caught up on. Well, who cares if you mispronounce something? I use words. I'm like, is that a word? Who cares? Why am I so, because the light is on. And, people could be watching. Did I just use bad? Like, fuck, I wish I could drop it. Anyway. Yeah. False narratives, just before we forget. You wanted to circle back to that.
Yeah.
Unless were you done with your thought? But what were we talking about?
Wait, what? Well, no.
That's
To close the entire loop,
your memory goes out the window. You're
lights,
shit, lights, camera. What was I talking about?
Yeah.
Usually I come back to it. But.
It's for me, and the word that I found that I really liked, and this is just my final point on that. We can close that loop. Meta narratives. That idea of what is my meta narrative, and for me, and that's, I think
you have to describe meta. Like, I don't think most people know.
I will.
Like,
I will describe it. Yeah. So
meta narrative, especially.
Okay, the best way that this was explained to me was, it was actually a prof at Brock. His name was Terrence Cox. He passed away a few years back, but brilliant guy. He looked like Santa Claus, right? And he was always very kind of dry and serious and big, grovelly voice and big beard. And the one day he kind of caught me off guard because he starts explaining meta, and then we'll get into meta narrative. But he explained it by going, have you ever seen a cereal box with an athlete on it? Kellogg's or whatever, Frosted Flakes. You got a big like NBA or NFL player on the front of the box, and he's holding a cereal box. And on that cereal box, there's a picture of another athlete holding a cereal box, right? And it becomes this kind of loop. And I like that because that's essentially what I'm talking about is this. It's kind of this loop within a loop within a loop. So meta narrative, the story that we tell ourselves, and meta narrative. So if I'm an actor in my own world and everyone around me is their lead actor in their own play, someone came up with, they invented this word. It's I don't think it's a real word yet, but it probably will be soon. But sonder, it's that moment of realization when you look around you and you realize that everyone else is the lead, the star in their own play that is life. That moment, that sonder moment, that's an invented word. It came off the internet probably 2013-ish, but I love that word, even though it's invented. That moment of sonder, I think, is the best way to understand meta narrative, because then you're able to kind of take that step back and go, okay, well, what is my meta narrative? What is my greater story? Now, some people, religion helps them create that meta narrative. It is, I am serving a greater purpose for God in the traditional sense of what their religion might define as traditional sense. Whether you're Muslim, Christian, Hindu, that might be a meta narrative. I don't have that personally. So in COVID, and the pandemic hit, my meta narrative, my story falls apart, and I realized that my meta narrative was, I need to go please others. I need to go bring joy into the world, because by doing that, then I deserve joy. Then joy will come back to me. This took me about 2.5 weeks of therapy to find out. But that was you talked about self-dialogue, and I had a lot of negative self-talk. And part of that negative self-talk was, Alex isn't good enough. Alex doesn't deserve to be happy unless Alex is making other people happy. And that was hardwired into my meta-narrative. And you're a fan of Jordan Peterson, because I've watched your stuff and we chat and stuff. But Jordan talks about that a lot. And it's very, very curious, because right now the story is, as you said, don't touch. Don't hug. 2 meters apart. Stay at home. Wear a mask. Do. And you said it right. You said that you think that the mental health consequences will be far greater than what the virus is doing. I cannot tell you officially, and I cannot name names. I cannot give you credits, because this is stuff that I shouldn't know. But I have friends that work in certain departments in Canada who are fairly high up that share interesting little tidbits with me. I'll put it that way. It is alarming to me what they've told me about suicide rates, what they've told me about domestic abuse rates, what they've told me about child abuse.
Because they're not in school and no one's there to report it. And not only that, you have a system that, I mean, the healthcare system right now, and those healthcare workers are being hailed as heroes, and that's fine. And I do not want to take away from that, because I respect the hell out of any nurses and doctors right now. Wow. Unfortunately, when you highlight something, you start going, look at this, and the fan art that I've seen on Instagram and YouTube of people drawing nurses, with the superhero thing. Okay, that's great. The only problem I have when you start to do that, it starts to cast shadows. No one's talking about the cops or the paramedics that have to show up to these calls in a system that's becoming, overburdened. And burden's the wrong word, but it's
it doesn't have the resources to support the amount of influx or the calls. And I think worse yet, I think a lot of, as you said, a lot of it's going unreported. A lot of it's not being talked about. And especially once you have mental health in the picture, I mean, you know, I can tell you firsthand what the mental health system in Niagara is like, and how drained their resources are. It's crazy to me, man. It's wild. It's different times. So meta-narrative, yeah, that's the end of my point, man. Is I think people should be careful with what stories they tell themselves. I'm craving pancakes.
Shut up. I'm starving, man. It's funny. Oh, shit. We've been going almost an hour. It's not. No, it is 3:58 already, man. False narratives. Pick up on that again. You missed. You didn't finish your point on that, or did you with the false? With the
I think I'm good. Yeah, that's good. Just be careful of the stories you tell yourself. Not just you as in the viewer, you as in Jim Fannon.
Yep.
The general you.
So, anyways, what's the impact been on you as far as the whole? Like, I get that how many shows did you have that were canceled?
Oh, all of them.
You know,
all of them.
You expected your business is going to come back, right? It wasn't like some of these people who lost everything in COVID. You know, you got some game, you got some talent, you're young, you get some business that went away for a year. Probably by the time we're done, you know.
At least. Yeah.
You know, well, it won't be a year until things are back to normal. It might be a year until your business is back to normal, but like virus-wise and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm interested to hear, you know, what your expectations are, especially, you know, the impact on you and your life and your relationships and your family too, because I don't have any kids. You don't either. You know, I don't even have a significant other to speak of type of, like, you know, like.
Sure.
So for me, when I go dark and I don't talk to anyone,
it's kind of the
cares?
same. Right,
you know?
right. Yeah.
It's no big deal. It's not like somebody's going to say, "Hey, where you been?"
Right.
I got my men's group on Thursday morning. That's the only thing, if I don't show up, that someone's going to go, "Hey, dude, you all right?"
Yeah.
Like, and I really love that because,
That's great.
I invite, I think I invited you out too. Like, it's Thursday morning on Zoom at 7:30. We used to get together. But I don't have any kind of group like that, and I really appreciate it because I've been in all kinds of groups, but I've never had an accountability and a support network like that. And especially now, it's become really important to me. Like, I don't even drink the night before because I want to make my men's group.
Yeah.
Like, it's that important to me, right?
Yeah, which is
I
great.
mean, I'm not perfect. You know, a few weeks ago, I went crazy on Wednesday night, and I woke up and I went live, video mute, audio mute, and then I think I listened to a little bit, and I fell back to sleep.
Yeah,
so
that's
I faked
all right.
that one, but
Yeah.
And then I asked one of my buddies. I said, "You mentioned my name and you said something. What did you?" He goes, "Oh, dude, what do you mean?" I go, "It was specific about this." He goes, "Yeah, I don't remember that." I'm like, "Oh shit." I just copped to him that I was half conscious, so that I said,
Yeah, you're trying to
maybe
make
I
up
made it up.
Yeah,
Maybe
it was just
I
in the dream
dreamt
world.
it.
That's all right.
But it's
That's funny, man.
I'm interested in the impact because everyone handles it differently, you know. And most people have significant support mechanisms built into their life, even if it's children or parents or a significant other, and you know, guys like you and me, like, I mean, I'm putting us in the same category, but we don't have the kids, we don't have the marriage, we don't, you know. I know you've got a girlfriend and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
anyway, I'm interested in that. I gotta cut to a full shot of you because you're so handsome.
Full shot. Here we go. We're back. You know what? Impact. All right. Well, let's start. I mean, okay. So I think I've always measured life as a series of there's health, wealth, relationships, education, and then career vocation. So there's like 5 things that the pendulum swings between: health, wealth, career, vocation, and relationships. Education's in there too, so maybe it's 6. But see, the lights are on, and I'm struggling to find my point. It's okay. And you're shifting about.
I'm walking around distracting.
Yeah, it's good. So career vocation obviously affected. I think, you know, as I mentioned before, show at the end of this month, August 28th with Buller at Camp Cataract. Show September 11th, Showtime Comedy, downtown St. Catharines. That'll be interesting because those will be the first real live events I've done since the start of this.
Showtime's a great venue too because it's set up for comedy specifically, or what you do. Well, you do both, really.
Yeah. No, it's I'm really stoked because it'll be a blast, man. I do love that space. I think it's a great setup. I love everything about it. And it's nice. It's quiet in the sense that you can work that room without a mic. You can work it with a mic. I think that ultimately my education hasn't been negatively affected. I've definitely used this time to learn stuff, and I don't mean anything crazy. Like I haven't gotten good at like skydiving or any like fun new hobbies because of course things have been shut down, and financially that would require some resources. Just skydiving specifically. I want to skydive, man. Remind me, okay?
Me too. I told a friend of mine the other day, and I've told so many friends, and this one was the only one intelligent enough to go, you can't jump out of a hot air balloon, loser. I had this thing, like I don't want to, like I know I gotta jump out of a plane, get my jumps down, and he's not just gonna jump off the end of a balloon. But I said, I've said this all kinds of my bucket list. I wanted free fall with a parachute off the side of a basket in a hot air balloon.
Okay.
Hot air balloons don't go to 30,000 K. And I guess that's what you got to do to skydive.
To skydive. All right. Well, there maybe not a hot air balloon, but there are balloons that go like, because that's like past the atmosphere. That's how I'm thinking of the Red Bull athlete. He's a professional skydiver. When was that? I mean, probably 2006. I want to say.
I remember that now. Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
But he went up in a balloon. Like he skydived to Earth from space, essentially. Like what? So if you want to skydive off a basket, maybe just strap a basket to the side of a plane. Just call it a day. A little picture of a hot air balloon on the side.
The whole thing is free falling from a standing start. Like you're not moving really. You're floating. You're not doing.
Oh, you just want to be still.
You're not doing 200 kilometers an hour or whatever, jumping into the wind.
Gotcha. Okay. That's a cool experience.
Yeah, I want to start from nothing, and just constant and build up to the 120.
What about a helicopter? Can you get to the right height in a helicopter, like hanging off kind of?
It's not all that important. It's just I'm surprised that I've been telling that dream to like so many people, and 10 years later, 20 years later, somebody goes, yeah, can't do it, loser.
See, and I'm sitting here going, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's the privileged millennial approach, right? You can do anything.
I hate being wrong.
Oh,
my bucket list is annihilated.
No, man. I think find a way, man. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, but I mean, otherwise, like interpersonal relationships, and I think relationship with myself. I mean, ultimately, my friend said this once, and I don't know if he was quoting someone or if he just said this. So I don't know if I'm quoting him or if I'm paraphrasing a quote he made. But what is with me and quotes? Man? I like my quotes. But he said, marriage is an external display and an internal consumption. And I went, okay. And it wasn't until maybe June of this year that I really, really understood what that meant. It's an external display, but an internal consumption. Now, of course, that sounds a lot more negative than I think I want it to right now, because it's not that it's, at first when I heard that quote, I was like, oh, it's an external display. Like, oh, it's just we're putting on a show and we're married and look at this big house and look at our dogs and look, we've got 2, Ferraris in the garage, blah, 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 and a swimming pool and a hot tub. That's great. Internal consumption, while on the inside, how am I going to pay for these Ferraris? The hot tub needs more chlorine. This house is going to foreclose in 2 months if I don't figure out a mortgage payment, blah, 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 blah. That's how I used to look at that quote. And then I realized, no, it is an external display, because no one will ever understand what a marriage is. And forget about a second partner. I don't even mean marriage partner like two people. I mean marriage as in marriage to yourself. And that's when I ultimately went, oh, okay, right. It's an external display and an internal consumption, because no matter where you go, there you are, right? There's another oldie but a goodie, right? No matter where you go, there you are, right? You can't run away from your problems, kid. Okay, right? Because we're married to ourselves. It's an internal consumption. It's constant. It's always. It's like an endlessly burning fire. We're always being consumed by our own thoughts, our own feelings. So yeah, man. I mean, to answer your question, COVID and all of this definitely affected me the most in that aspect is not only the interpersonal relationships, but my relationship with myself, which then of course affected, a snowballed. So I apologize to people that I haven't reached out to. I apologize to you. I apologize to people watching that haven't heard from me in a while. I made a Facebook Live back at the end of I think July, maybe mid-July, and was like pretty vehemently like vulnerable and slightly vexed at this whole thing, and said, here's where I'm at, here's where I'm going, here's where I've been. Thanks for taking part. And the reaction, I didn't think anybody would care, or people would just kind of make fun of it. The amount of people that reached out privately and said, hey, you know what? I really appreciate you sharing that. That meant the world to me. That was so brave. All that tells me, and you've said this before, is that you need to be vulnerable. All that tells me is that we're all going through the same thing, and it's about time. Instead of using that as a crutch, because I've heard that tossed around too, like we're all in this together.
Oh, okay. That's so much bullshit. If I never hear that again,
yeah,
it'll be too soon.
I'd love to really get to the root of that, man. Like, because it's the right idea in a sense, but the words are just wrong, right? Because we're all in this together, and I don't know. I think there's more to it. So yeah. I'm glad to be on the road to good, to healing. I got to pull something up for you. You're pulling stuff. I'm
pulling up right now your Camp Cataract off your website.
Are you?
Which is thealexkazam.com.
Thank you.
Here's the date. August 28th, 8 p.m. Camp Cataract. And is this just an exclusive show for you?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll be there.
Great.
Yeah, no, yeah. I want to be there.
It'll be fun. It's gonna be outside. It's gonna be on the patio, because that way we don't have to worry too much about masks or.
I see in your promo you've got a mask on.
Yeah.
That's a pretty mask. What is that blue thing with it? Oh, you got
like treasure chests. Yeah. You know what? That was Siobhan. She's at it's Yaz Cleaners on Martindale. She's a seamstress, and she's got a dry cleaning business here in St. Catharines.
Okay.
She makes them handmade, and she made that one for me, and I love it. Yeah, so I wore that, and then Zach Esau took the photo. Zach is behind all my photos recently. The umbrella one, the all the good stuff is Zach. So yeah, it should be good. I'm excited.
So when is that then?
August 28th?
Yeah.
What's today? The 25th? So Friday?
Oh, shit. It's Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's coming.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah. What are you gonna do? You got anything? What do you got? What, like, how long is your bit or your gig, or like you're on stage, right?
Yep.
Folks all gonna be on you.
Yep. So
how long is your act?
For that particular night, we're gonna go for probably 60 minutes. 60 minutes is what I have set. If we go short, we can go short depending on energy and people that are there. I always tell like Adam. I said this very openly to Adam. I said because of what's going on in the world, I'm happy to feel it. But if we go to 75, if we go to 80, and people are into it, I'll stay. That's cool. Yeah. If I can start feeling people's energy kind of go down, or they just want to get drunk and drank, that's cool. We can end it early. I've become
that's
better
one thing you got to be good at is reading the room, right?
Yeah.
When you lose it, it's time to pull the plug, right? And that's one thing you don't get when you don't have a live audience so much, right? You just go and.
But, you can't feel it. Yeah. Sorry, but I was trying to pull up this thing because I think you'll really appreciate this, and it'd be kind of an interesting spot to end on. And I thought I saved it in my notes, but I might not have. So it's going to take me a second. That's okay.
Matthew James is still hanging around.
Matthew James.
He's working there. I'm going to be there. Well, I guess I'll see a few of my peeps on Friday. And I haven't been to Camp Cataract yet, so I'm excited to see it. I've heard a lot about it, but it's supposed to be a venue that specializes in live music.
Yeah, live music.
Or performances.
It's just... It's cozy. That's the best way I can describe it, and maybe that's not the best way to sell it during a pandemic as cozy, because now everything has to be sterile and isolated. But no, it's a cozy venue, and they've got like just the whole thing is like it feels like you're at camp, like as a kid, like in a cabin, and it's not necessarily kitschy, because there is the problem with, if you do that the wrong way, it kind of seems kitschy and kind of gimmicky, and it's like, again, sterile, which is funny because you're trying to create something that it's not. Whereas I think Adam did a great job, but I mean his background in visual design and visual arts helped huge. The stuff he did in that place, you walk in and every little nook and cranny has something to do with camp or Canada or just kind of being outdoors. So it's super cool. And then great food. They've got wood fired pizzas there too, and I know you like your pizzas, you like your pies, man. So yeah,
Rex Pizza.
Yeah.
Best in the world.
Yeah.
I never tasted one better than that. Massimo's is pretty good too. And when I'm in St. Catharines, Julius is not a bad pizza, depending on the order, how it's ordered. My brother taught me a cool little trick. It's pepperoni on top. Last item. Get the double cheese if you want.
Okay, but
just don't bury my pepperoni with it because I want them burnt and full of grease and Santos and Welland used to have some good pizza. I haven't eaten at Santos in a long time.
Santos, I don't think I've been. See, I'm biased. I love the Johnny Rocco's one. When I'm in St. Kitts, I rip up to Johnny Rocco's because, again, wood fire oven, and I've known the owner since I was 15. Now they got a new one
in St. Red Swan, or what's the Swan down on Bunting Road, or close to the... I have to look it up. I haven't tried it yet. I heard a lot of good things about it, though.
All right.
But Rex is number one.
All right.
Smoke and pizza.
I haven't heard of this Swan place, man. Find the Swan. I feel like it's a ballet term. Find the Swan. Yeah. I was trying to pull up this. I swear I saved it in my notes, and then I just didn't save it somewhere, or I did something wrong or something.
Red Swan.
Red Swan.
366 Bunting Road.
Okay.
646-3555. And I heard a lot of good things about it. And they've been advertising on my social media. They've been jumping into my social media feed a lot lately.
Okay.
And it's so unfair to put pizza in my social media because I'm fucking always hungry. And pizza's like one of my favorite foods. And you put that actually, and I don't share sponsored links too much or comment on them very often because it's just an ad, right? But I'm like, this is mean.
Yeah.
It's not fair. I've reported you for I don't know, whatever. I was being smart, but Red Swan. I'm gonna check it out. We should check it out later.
Yeah, I'd be down, man.
Yeah,
love a good pizza, man.
You're getting back on your bike then, and speaking of bikes, you're a unicyclist, right?
Yeah.
Gavin did a great joke the other day. And he was on his podcast, but he was doing he was an impersonate, going like this, and I was dying laughing. He's talking about being up at the tree and yelling down when he was a kid in Montreal. He'd yell down, and he's nice unicycle, asshole. And he's like, anyway.
That's awesome,
but,
man. Anytime unicycles get some clout or some attention, I'm happy. My buddy, I've got a buddy Tom, that stand-up comedian locally, and he's got this joke, and it's basically the punchline. I don't remember the joke, but the punchline is basically I didn't know unicyclists had friends, right? It's just you don't even need the joke. It's just a funny line. It's it's so true. You don't get good at unicycling with a buddy. So yeah, it goes to show you, I guess, a little bit of my childhood. There's insight into my past, eh?
Yeah.
Crazy. I was trying to pull up this quote, man, because it's a health and lifestyle author out of I think LA that I follow on Instagram, and because you said normal, and that term normal, getting back to normal, and he said, if normal was what was before we have what we have now, and then what we're going to go into, he goes, I want nothing to do with that normal. And that's interesting because on the positive side of all this, all the BS aside, because there's a lot of it on every end. You've got the people that are oh, I'm anti-mask, and you've got, oh, I'm pro-mask, and you're an idiot. Well, no, you're an idiot, and then you've got oh, this whole thing is fake, and then oh, you're not taking it seriously, and then all that aside, because that to me is just what I love about this, and I want it to end here, man, is that the new normal, I hope has nothing to do with the old one, because how often
there's no new normal. Stop it.
That's just it. Well, how often do we get a chance in history, like a giant stop sign, to go, hey, stay the fucking home, chill with your family, chill with yourself,
Never
figure out your
should have
life.
stayed at home.
And well, that's just it. I mean, but on the bright side, it happened.
We could have done all this with social distancing and washing our hands.
Sure,
We didn't need to
yeah.
fucking shut the economy down and ruin
for
everyone's
sure.
lives and businesses.
I can't change it. I can't change it now. So all I can do is try to look to the better side of it, right? And that's my only point, man. Is, you know what? I'm gonna look at this as, all right. This has been a really interesting time for me to go, all right, Alex, what do you want? You know, you check in, right? I was talking with you, man. Real estate, right? That's interesting to me. You know, what if not magic right now? Because I can't be in front of live people. And I told
tried
you,
my best to talk you out of it, but you won't listen.
I know. I don't want to do magic on
Stupid
camera.
kids.
I know, stupid though.
Stupid kids, fuck shit, no nothing.
But you know,
That's for you,
content like
Frank.
this, man. For Frank, you said.
Frank Blazevic, that was one of his favorite sayings. He's old Croatian guy, buddy of mine's father.
Cool.
And he used to say, fuck shit, stupid kids, know nothing. Because he was so broken with his, like, he just thought if you put fucking shit together, it made it worser.
He's not wrong.
And
He's
no,
not wrong.
that's lived
love
on forever. Fuck shit, stupid kids, know nothing. He used to say that when he stopped talking about his own kids, right?
Croatian, man. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I
Speaking
love
of
it.
kids, you got to have access to mentoring kids now. Like, I mean, I've always been so drawn to that, and that's of all the things I miss right now. I miss looking after the kids. Like, I'm pretty fortunate.
Yeah.
I've got a 4-year-old I see once a week or every couple of weeks or sometimes twice a week, and she just makes my world. She makes me a better human being. She reminds me of just some basic things, you know.
There's the innocence,
she asked
the
me why I
wonder.
wasn't at her party the other day. I said I didn't get an invite, and she says, I said, why didn't I get an invite? And she says, you're not on the list. And I said, well, how do I get on the list? She says, you have to be a girl. I said, oh, well, I'm a girl. I'm a girl today. She says, no, Jimbo, you can't be a girl. I go, what? Just for one day, I want to be a girl. I identify as a girl. She doesn't get where I'm going with it. And she's like, no, you're a boy. I'm like, the wisdom from a 4-year-old just reinforcing, yes, you're in a crazy time right now. And there is still a normal.
Yeah.
And the normal is not the 1%. The normal's the 99%. Like, you can talk about whatever you want, you know? So I really miss the kids because I used to look after them once a month at church. So I'd have 30 of them, right? But there was a few of them that, you know, I'd shoot baskets with that cheated on the score.
It's awesome.
That would, you know,
Gotta
like,
get
oh,
them
it's just
somehow.
awesome. Like, just love them. And somebody took a picture of me helping a kid with, like, because we have craft tables. But it's in preschool, it's free for all. Like, you go into the kindergarten, it's kind of structured. They go from event to event to event, and you kind of go and just be with them, right?
Yeah.
This is just a wide open room, which is more my style. Because I moved up when one of my kids graduated. I moved up. I figure I'll go with him, right? And we'll have some fun. No, because it's a different thing over there. They don't have a basketball net, and so he can't cheat on the shots,
Right.
you know, on the counting. And so I learned I just went back to preschool. And there's one shot of me with my shaved head, just looking, and these two kids, this one's like that little snapshot in time. Like, every time I see that picture, I'm just like, I miss the brats, man. So that's one thing that's really been carving on me because, you know, when I think of some good things in my life, that's one of them. And it's been ripped.
Yeah.
Like, it's not my fault that it's been ripped. And I'm sure, I don't know if it's been ripped from them. I'm not sure too many 4-year-olds are going, man, I wish I could go back to church, to place, you know, whatever it is down there. Well, we call it kids' church, whatever. But I've always been drawn to that as far as the mentoring and the getting in. Like, you know, I sat here with a buddy of mine a couple of years ago, and he's like, dude, thank you. I go, what? He goes, you cracked me wide open today. Whoa, there's nothing better than somebody going, thanks, you know?
Yeah.
So are you still doing work with the kids, mentoring them, teaching them, or bringing them along? How many you got going, and how's that been affected by the whole shutdown?
Yeah. It's you know what? There's light because it was affected in the start So I have private students that train with me. So for example, one of them, I think he's like 16 now, and he just went down. He got lucky. I think it was like November. He went down, November or December, down to the States to New York to audition for America's Got Talent.
Oh.
And I did that, I guess 2018. So yeah, 2 years ago now. And I got to tell him from my experience firsthand, and he got to learn and go down, and then he came back up, and it was so cool to see what failed. What
you did the AGT?
Yeah. I want to say 2018, 2017 to 2018.
Did you get on the main show?
I was on the main show for a blip. I was like a filler, like a thing. Okay. So technically, I aired on national TV for a few seconds there, but not as a contestant in front of the judges. Technically, if you appear on the show, even if you're not televised, this is just a tip for people that are in the arts, because I think it's a great tip that someone gave me. Once you audition, no matter if it airs or not, once you audition for that show, you can call yourself a contestant on the show, because you are, per their paperwork. So that's kind of neat. Okay. But yeah, anyways, I did it, and he went down about a year or two after I did, and it was cool to hear the experience. It's like you were saying, that snapshot in time. For me, it wasn't a picture, but it's the memory of getting the call, excited, like, hey, you know what? I don't think I'm going to get it, but this is what went wrong. This is what I learned from it. This is how I recovered. This is what I'm going to plan on doing next year. This is, and he didn't come out of it, because that's what I wanted to ingrain is don't just because I didn't end up as a contestant in front of the main judges, which is what everyone asks me. It's what I wanted. That doesn't matter. The amount of stuff I learned about myself, the amount of preparation I put in to go down there and to audition with Paul, who I mentioned earlier, right? Paul Wildbaum. That in itself made me a better performer. That in itself was worth it. Yeah, the exposure would have been nice, but that's just a bonus. That's just a bonus that happens to then increase cash flow, which is great. But I don't think it should just be about that, man. So coming back to your question, I mean, I've been very fortunate because over the past 2 months, so July and August, my friend Trevor owns a parkour and movement facility in Burlington called Play Project Parkour. And he was allowed come July with phase 3, whatever, to open up his day camp again. So he has a group of campers. There's 2 groups that he can run throughout the whole day. They can never interact. So they'll use half the gym for one group, half the gym for the other group. They'll have lunch, and then they'll switch halves after lunch. I came in as a special guest for, I did it once in July. I did it once just about a week ago. And he told me that the feedback he's gotten from the kids is that I was one of their favorite. I ranked as their favorite special guest throughout the camp, which is awesome because that tells me they got A, some kind of value out of it, and B, that they had fun. Like value in terms of they learned something or they experienced something that they weren't ready to, and then they had fun is number 2. And Trevor said that they give them these surveys and who did you like and why did you like it, and I was their favorite. And when it said why, explain why, the kids said or wrote because he was funny. And that, I overthink it, man. I go, I'm doing a magic show, and then I'm gonna, because I would do like 20 to 30 minute show for them, and then I would teach them magic, hands on. Prior to COVID, hands on. Right now, that is something weird about that, man. Is like, how do you instruct someone? Because it's not like I even have to move their hands or physically like assist, right? Like as maybe you would with like knitting or some other sport where like you actually like have to show someone like, no, do this. I do magic. I can come up close and kind of show you. Maybe move your pinky. Okay, try this with the elastic, or move this. Now, it's so weird, and that's what's killing me, man. And I think you'll feel this too if once you go back to working and mentoring the kids you're working with. I would approach, and it's that reaction. If they back up like this, and I'm like, to the camera, like I'm not even close, but they have this like automatic, because the fear is there. That's fucked up to me. That's scary because at that age, right?
I saw a guy putting a mask on a 3-year-old the other day, or 2-year-old. He was in a stroller.
They're so
I didn't
malleable.
I
They're
didn't
like
say anything.
Play-Doh.
I started chatting the guy up. I was waiting out front of a store for an order, and I just said, "That's a pretty tough-looking dude right there." Like he was staring me down. I think I can't remember what he was staring at me. I'm like, "Oh, buddy, looks pretty tough there. He's staring me down like he wants to fight or something." Anyways, buddy goes, and you could tell he was, he had just walked there. He wasn't dressed in a suit and tie type of, he was a rough-looking guy. And he's like, well, he's putting the mask on this really young child. And I'm like, I didn't say anything, but he's like, well, better teach him early. This isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And I was like, I felt so sad. Just like, really? Are you really buying this shit that they're selling you? Like, fuck.
Meta narratives, right? There it is again, man. I feel like that's the title of our time together. That's the story this guy's telling himself. Now, listen, if that is ultimately his reality, let's say that is reality for the sake of argument. Okay, let's just say that. What good is it doing for that kid to hear that? I read a story where
it goes back to the fear that you're saying. Like it's just like you want to talk about being angry. Yeah, I'm angry, and that's when you build in or teach people to be afraid, and the mainstream media is doing it to us every day.
Oh yeah, and they were way before Corona.
Yeah, and I really didn't catch it, but this has kind of shot a light. Like I caught it. The whole Michael Moore live in fear, buy stuff. Even after 9/11, they're like, go buy stuff.
Right.
Go get going.
Yeah.
Now you say that, and there's like, oh, you're irresponsible.
Right.
They're marching in the streets. The gun-toting conservatives and marching in the streets to open the fucking economy, and they're monsters. Black Lives Matter and Antifa go riot 100,000 people at a time. No big deal. Yeah, and we saw a bump in the outbreaks too from all that, but we could have done it all with just social distancing. We didn't need to shut the whole economy down. The whole North American economy. Yeah, you got to watch travel. You got to watch, hot spots, bringing people in. Yeah, you probably go to a social distancing, like a 50% capacity type of thing for yoga studios and stuff like that. But like shutting it all down, man, it's killed a lot of people. And, we won't know the impact for another year or so till all those businesses that went, what, we tried, we're done.
Yeah.
We held on for 8 months, paying the bills, and then.
Oh man, I was chatting with you about being interested in this real estate stuff. I just started getting curious about it. And I'm obviously going to look to you and bug you with random phone calls. Like, hey man, what's this about? What's this? It's to learn. I love learning new stuff. But there's businesses downtown that I thought were doing fine, and there's no for sale sign, there's no for lease sign.
They're still
not
open.
They're listed on realty sites as like business for sale. These people just want out. Turnkey operations. It's just go. And I think they're
speaking of businesses.
Yeah.
My Mexican friend, the restaurateur, the guy with the truck, he used to be at the market.
Yes. Oh, I feel horrible for not remembering right now. Yeah.
So see what I mean?
I want to say it starts with an F.
When the light is on, he
I might
just
be wrong.
come
Yeah,
up
but
in my
he's
feed
great.
the other day. Anyways, he's opening a restaurant.
Is he?
Come on. Jose.
Jose.
Hey, Jose.
I say F. Yes, not
It's
F.
my Saturday morning breakfast.
Yeah.
And then he stopped doing the market thing. And then, I don't know, he said, I just saw an article today. He was and he called me. And I said, come on the show. Like, make me a burrito.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
dude,
I
will
might
run
have him
production
on
on that
because
show,
he's
okay?
such a sweet human being. I love my guy.
Yeah,
and
he's always been so nice, man. He's so nice.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Yeah. Man.
But in the middle of a pandemic, people are closing. He's opening one.
Yeah.
He was at a
Smart.
Super Bowl party, and I think the guys from Brock or something like that, and they partnered up, and hopefully it'll be open soon.
I think if you have the right model, and what I will say is that this has been an insane stress test, right? Because in business we talk about like what's your stress test, but like what can you handle, right? Like stress test, like you want to get approved for a mortgage, we're gonna stress test you. You want to open a business, okay, well we're gonna stress test your. This whole thing has been a stress test for people, emotions, mental health, businesses, but just economically, I'm gonna be fascinated for 5 to 10 years from now what they're teaching. I use that term loosely, but what they might be sharing with students in universities and colleges. because I think that format's going to change. I was in my Google, my Gmail account, and I had ads for Yorkville University, and I emailed them because I was just curious about something that popped up, an ad that was very relevant to me. And they've been calling me nonstop. They've been emailing me. They've been giving me deals, and this is like this is education that is recognized just as much as Brock would be, or York University, or Queens. Like, this is Yorkville University, and I can do this program in 2 years all online. I mean, that's the future of school. Presumably, right? That's where, even though kids are going back to classes, everything, I'm really curious to see how this affects what we're going to see in 5 to 10 years, because I think it will be a model for people to go, hey, look at this business during 2020, and look at this one. This one survived, this one didn't. Here's why. Right? So I think there's some really cool things that are going to come out of it. Like, just unfortunately, if you look at it removed from the situation, not emotionally attached, because I don't know Joe or John that own whatever business. I'm sad that John lost his business, but removed from it, it's kind of neat to look at why, right? Jose, right? Opening a business during this, where some people would go, you're crazy, man. Hoard, right? Warren Buffett, though, right? Be greedy in a time of fear, and be fearful in a time of greed, right? When other people are being greedy, be fearful, and vice versa. Like, it's very curious, man. I'm excited for Jose, is my point, because I really love his burritos and his food.
He's such a sweet human. I felt bad because I chirped him one time. I showed up at the market and he wasn't there. I said, lazy Mexican or whatever, and I chirped him. and I, because I want my fucking burrito. Sure. I don't know, actually, it's not a burrito. What did I used to have? Cheese. Quesadilla. Yeah. Chicken quesadilla. Yeah. With cheese. And he knew how to make. I'd be at the back. He'd be go like this, 2. Saturday morning, 2. Extra hot sauce, blah, blah, blah. So one day I go there and he's not there. Well, he's doing a wedding, right? He's on location. He's making more money.
He's got a life outside of the market.
And I chirp him, right? I put like a Facebooked it or tweeted it, lazy. I take a picture of his empty spot at the market, the corner where he used to be, and then I chirp him, and usually he would give me a like or a retweet or a share or something like that. He didn't say anything. I'm like, oh no.
Have you talked to him?
He was fine.
Since?
No, I've seen him since.
Oh, okay,
then. He's fine,
yeah.
And he actually,
that's funny.
He actually contacted me. I don't know what he thinks I can. I asked him to come on the show. Sure. So like, I don't know that even helps, but I love the guy.
You guys sit right here, okay? You guys sit here. I'll do production. I just want a burrito out of the deal. Okay? I'll run the show. You guys just.
So happy to hear that. And then I got to thank you so much, because there's not too many people. I shouldn't say that. Some people, they don't call their realtor friend when they get into real estate. So I appreciate it when that happens, because some of the times, I'll even say a lot of the times, you'll see someone and they go, as soon as they see it, they're like, oh, what? I just bought a house. Oh, fuck. What do you mean you just, Jimmy, I didn't even think of you. And you're like, how do you not think of me? I sold you that or whatever. Right. We've grown up since, but you don't stay, send them calendars or magnets or whatever. You don't stay in front of them. You're gone.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. And so next thing you know, I'm like, oh, we should do this online. Like, we had a really cool chat last time. It was pretty deep, and it was kind of horrifying in some respects, because you really got honest with some of the things you've grown up with and battled. And we talked about the black hole, the descent into the abyss, during COVID. For you it was a lot different, and I don't understand that kind of thing. So I'm like, well, fucking man up. You're like, dude, man up. Let me tell you about. And then I'm like, and then the more you said, I just remember going, dude, you're a fucking movie. Like, you are a living you're not even 30 years old, and we could write a fucking movie about your life already. Somebody said the other day, write a book. And I go, I got to write the commission coach, because, it could make me some money. Could, like, I'm struggling too, man. Like, I'm fucking unemployed for the first time in a long time. Unless you think this is a job. Like, as a realtor. And, I've got some things on the go, but, like, it's been a fucking rough time. And I don't know, now I'm brain farted, but, oh no. So you call me. And that means a lot to me. So then I go, okay, well, we need to do this while the cameras are rolling, because somebody's going to get something out of this. Somebody's going to go, Matthew, James, Blake, whoever's watching, not necessarily live, but they You go, oh, okay, so that's normal. Oh, okay, so what I'm feeling is okay.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you don't get the acknowledgement. That's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't get it for decades later. And like, you know what? I saw that show with you and Alex Kazam. When did you do that? 10 years ago? Yeah, it changed my life.
Yeah.
Like, and then
one thing, oh man,
you know, that acknowledgement is so great. And then so I'll wrap up, but I'm really appreciative of you thinking of me when you're in a question area where you know I exist. Real estate. Yeah. Like Fannon. Like, you're my only guy. And I'm calling you now, and the first thing out of your mouth is, I'm sorry. I fell off the planet for a while.
I did.
You messaged me 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I haven't returned it, so I want to take responsibility. But forget that. I'm buying a house, and what can you tell me about blah, 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 blah. And the next thing you know, we're doing appraisals, and we're doing CMAs, and, you know, we're talking real estate, and I really appreciate that. So it's strange because they come in waves maybe, and you never know.
Even though the house thing didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it brought us back together, right?
Exactly. And I was just going to add that. Go ahead.
And so maybe they come in waves, and maybe it's got something to do with being open enough to receive an invitation. Like, I've been shut down, you know. So, you know, my best friend could call me. My best friend probably doesn't call me tonight because I've said no to him so many times over the last many nights. Come by, we're having a fire, it'd be great to see you. Thanks. Don't show up. Or tell him no, right? So I think it maybe just subconsciously, you know, in the universe, I've been putting out there that I'm open to having you back in my life or having whatever. Because David Quirk called me the other day. And David Quirk is going to be on the show Friday.
That's awesome.
Now, David Quirk was like a complicated relationship story. You know, I haven't seen David Quirk. Like, I've seen him, but when I knew him, he was 10, 11, 12, 13, even younger than that. He was a little kid.
Yeah.
And now he talks like this. And now he's probably 6'6".
Yeah.
And he calls me the other day. Like, I don't know, he texts me. I'm like, dude, fucking call me. Like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Call me.
Yeah.
Or what you're not, you know. So he gave me his number. I call him. I'm like, so David Quirk is the son of Wayne Quirk, which owns Remax Garden City, which I know you know because my history there and whatever. He goes, I go, what are you doing? He says, I'm working with Brian Grant, a buddy of mine, who's a kick-ass realtor. Has done pretty well for himself.
Yeah. Brian's a great guy.
And I'm doing some work with Brian, and, Dad's going to retire soon, so I'll be, doing something there probably. I'm like, what? Dude, you're going to inherit the brokerage? He goes, well, like, I'm a realtor. What do you think?
Yeah.
And I'm not putting words in his mouth. Maybe I shouldn't even be saying any of this, but we're going to talk about it Friday.
Sure.
Here's
you
a
can always
kid.
delete this. It's okay.
A kid in my life that one time called me and said, hey, can you fill in some spaces, some gaps here? I'm struggling. I'm like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
And then, you don't hear from him for a while. And now I don't know how old he is, but I'm like, well, dude, going back and forth. He wants to get a beer with me. And I'm like, well, thank you. 1. 2, I don't even care why you're calling or what you want. I'm just glad you called, so I'm here.
Yeah.
And 3, why don't we do this live?
Yeah.
He goes, sure.
Yeah.
So Friday.
That's awesome.
2 days. Oh, shit. Your gig's Friday. So, yeah, I'll have to get done and out of here. Well, no, he's on at 3 o'clock, same time. So.
Okay, you got time. Yeah.
But I really appreciate it because
that, that's great.
We're all in this together. Is such bullshit, and I know the feeling behind it is like buy local, support your neighbors. I think that humans are like that anyway. We don't need to be told it's a bad time. Make sure you take care of people because we're pretty much like that anyway. I mean, some of us aren't, but
for the most part, people are.
Yeah, it makes a difference. So I love you, brother. I'm glad you fucking looked me back up and that we hung the other night and I drank and drank and drank and you didn't. And then we had a hot tub with your friend and that was cool and a swim and it was a good night, man.
It was a great night. So, one thing I was going to tell you is to in these shows ask your guests for who you should have on next. It's a great formula for a podcast or this. I mean, If you already have like booked people, then that's great. But I know that model just works really well. And while I'm thinking of it, I'm just going to mention him because he helped me a lot in the past couple of weeks. His name's Cam Wilson. Do you know Cam?
Cam Wilson.
He's got an office Port Dalhousie on Locke Street.
What's he do?
He's a mortgage guy.
Oh yeah, he's in my Facebook, but I don't think I know him.
You should have him on the show.
He did something with the city. He's all puffing. He's blowing smoke up Walter Senzik's ass because Walter helped him out with something. Well, my last broadcast.
See, now you should definitely have him on the show.
Cam Wilson, yeah. We've corresponded a little bit. I know he's a mortgage broker. He did have an interesting post the other day. He's like, I'm a mortgage broker. I'm not a realtor. I'm like I'm a health practitioner for your money. I think it was his pitch. I was like, that's an interesting way to promote yourself.
I would have him on the show.
He did something about deferral of mortgage payments, and somehow Senzik was involved, I think. I don't know how local politics came into it, but I know that, I'm never been the biggest Walter Senzik fan as a politician anyways. Before that, even so, not so much of a fan. I mean, I get a beer with the guy anytime. I know he doesn't like me all that much, but closing the city beaches was kind of queer, if I can say that.
It was
very queer.
I didn't know that was
very unusual. That was very stupid.
That was municipal level?
Oh no, any beach in St. Catharines you have to show ID to get on.
I know that, but that's decided at the municipal level. Like that's all.
Yeah, St. Catharines
mayoral office
passed it. He was behind it, and then I don't think the region's done anything. No, the region did something with the mask thing too. So
that's regional.
Anyways, a buddy sent me a picture of Senzik photoshopped as Hitler.
Whoa.
I didn't reshare it, but I did broadcast it when I was doing my show. Yeah, because I thought it was. I even did the.
Wow, the time, to do that with St. Catharines mayor. I appreciate anyone who's.
But yeah, so I know that he was pimping Senzik pretty hard there with whatever he did. He did something with mortgages. And,
he did, and he'll talk to you about it way better than I ever will. But you know what? There's something about Cam and just chatting with him. He sat me down for 2 hours and told me stuff about the mortgage and like lending world in Canada that I didn't know. Two major things. There's the what you mentioned with the deferral, and and with mortgage insurance too. There's like a couple of things there where the stuff he told me, and he just wants to protect people, and he got not just the mayor on board, man, the city, but Niagara Health System, like big players, because he gives back I think 5% of whatever he earns commission rate back to Niagara Health System. I think his mind and his heart are in a good place, and I think that he would make a pretty interesting guest live on the show with you. So yeah, something you said earlier, I was like, oh, do you know Cam? I forget, it was right before you brought up Dave, but for some reason it just made me think of Cam, so I thought I'd ask you if you knew him. But yeah, man, here we are. Are we getting pizza?
Yeah, we're getting pizza.
All right.
Let's get the hell out of here.
I love it.
I got your Twitter back up. Here's your YouTube. Well, they just search Alex Kazam is how I found it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's
Stephen Kotler is the guy that wrote the book on flow. Here's Stephen Kotler.
Okay. I was thinking of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. He's got like this crazy cool name.
Really?
It's a book called Flow. That's the one I was thinking of.
Stephen Kotler did hacking. What was it? Flow Research Collective. Hacking. What's his books? I've got Stealing Fire was a new one. I don't have Stealing Fire yet. Bold. I've got Bold and Abundance. I haven't even written. The print in these books is too small now.
What are they, like ebooks? Like
what was
Kindle?
it? Hacking the. No, I got Abundance and Bold. I got those in physical books. There was something about hacking the flow.
Yeah, the one I'm thinking of is just called Flow. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi.
Wow.
Csikszentmihalyi.
You can say that
It's
really
like,
well.
oh, look at it. That's the name. You see the last name at the bottom there?
No, I can't.
It's like,
yeah.
it's wild. It's it's huge.
Anyway, here's Kazam over on Facebook. Oh, I put that picture up. That is a pretty good picture, even though it's a front camera shot, and I had to zoom it in. It's a little grainy, but good shot of us.
Our
on
selfie
walk for the lake, to the lake, and look at you, such a handsome young man. Anyways, I love you, brother. Thanks for the time. And
my pleasure, man.
Cataract. Yep, let's do this.
Ba-dum-bum-bum.
Here it is, right here.
Yeah, that's this Friday, man. It's coming.
Friday, 8 o'clock, 8 to 9:15.
Yeah, and then
Get there
Showtime September 11th. If people can't make that one, yeah, both. I'd love to have people out because
I didn't even ask if you. You should have thrown some cards at me or something.
Yeah,
I mean, you are the guy, you know.
That's
You're supposed to
Gambit.
do some magic for us at least. Like, what the fuck?
I know.
We can't do it on camera. They'll slow it down. All right, brother. We'll get out of here. We should bring it up with some music. I'm not even going to bother. Okay, so I've given you all the spots that we can get a hold of you.
I love it. I appreciate it.
In closing, what would you like to say to your fans or anybody that could be listening over the next few weeks, months, years?
Ooh.
You know, this stuff's going to stay up there for a long time.
Yeah.
Any closing comments, Mr. Kazam?
You know what, Mr. Fannon? Thank you for having me on. I will close with that, and I think let's all just be very aware of the story we're telling ourselves. I think that's what I'll close with: is choose a better story if the one you're telling yourself is no longer serving you.
Amen. You working out? I never noticed your pipes.
Yeah, working. I'm always working. I'm also purposely sitting, just flexing. No. I like this chair, man. But I'm looking at the camera for a moment. I stretched out, but then I felt back because I felt like I was looking like a chicken. So then I went down here and I was like, yeah. This is a nice chair. Yeah, I've been working out, man. I've been staying active. Thanks for
You're
noticing.
looking good, brother.
So are you, though.
I'm gonna try that once soon. Working out.
Sure,
I gotta get
man.
back to the yoga.
Yeah.
The yoga was great for me, man. The hot yoga was unbelievable. I was over at is it Moksha?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called
yeah,
now?
Moksha, yeah.
No.
Oh, I don't know what it's called now. I'm not up to the times, man. I stopped watching the news.
Anyways, they got a hot room there.
Yeah. The one on Glendale?
Yeah, Glenridge.
Or Glenridge? Yeah.
Glenridge.
Yeah.
It turns a switch in your brain, man.
Yeah.
Like you come out of there, you don't want to go boozing.
Yeah, I know.
You don't want to eat shitty food.
No.
You don't want to smoke, put, whatever.
Yeah.
Drink. It's like all these vices that we've got. That we're going,
wanna,
I'm
breathe
fucking
air,
fat.
drink
I'm
water.
fat. You know what not to do.
Yeah.
Like, don't
Yeah.
eat shitty food. And I'm telling you,
There's a
the
great TED Talk
first-
about that.
the
I'm going to send it
first
to you.
time, and I really got into the place because Anthony Sweet used to play live there. I know Aaron Berger's done some gigs there.
Okay.
Anthony Sweet used to do Tuesday night live.
At the yoga studio?
Yeah, he played
Oh, I
in the
know.
room.
Oh, my God.
And Anthony Sweet is a absolutely gorgeous human being. One of my favorite people. Just his name is perfect for him. He is so sweet. He's one of my favorite people. And so I wanted to see him. And it's not the first time I went there. And I had this story in my head. No, I need to do yoga a few times before I go straight into the hot room.
Right.
I was just a bullshit excuse for not doing doing yoga at all. Yeah, if I say no to the hot yoga because I haven't done yoga yet, then
You're not yet.
it gets me out of everything. But when I got into the room, the first leader that I had in that room was so generous about saying, like, sit down anytime you want.
Yeah.
Because I'm a competitor.
Yeah.
And there's some big units in that room that shouldn't be outperforming me.
Yeah.
But I'm extremely out of shape, even though I'm not fat. Like, I'm going to give this thing till the end. Right? Not at 102 degrees or whatever they keep that room at. And it's humid.
Yeah.
It's not a dry heat.
Yeah.
You walk in and it takes your breath away.
Yeah.
You have to get used to it.
crazy.
And I've done I did a 8-week class with a friend of mine that has unfriended me now because I'm conservative or right-leaning or whatever, and they can't handle it. But we did a class together. We giggled through the whole thing, that it was rough. Like, I'm sweating buckets just doing regular. I did a yoga by Sarah when she was on Queenston Street. It was that long ago.
Yeah.
So anyways, I get into this room, and so I get about halfway through, and there's some forms that I can do, or whatever they call them, poses or whatever, that I'm good at.
Yeah.
And some that, at that time, my shoulder was frozen. Like, I had to rehab it.
Yep.
And I wish I knew the guy's name, the chiropractor that gave me the shock therapy and the what's that shock?
Okay. Yeah.
It's
no, I'm thinking of like
sonar or something, or
okay, I don't know.
It clicks.
Okay, no idea.
Deep wave shock therapy. Anyway, in addition with chiropractic and acupuncture and everything like that. Like, I could not.
It wasn't Jeff, right? It wasn't Jeff Gamble.
No, yeah.
Was it Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's my guy.
Oh, the guy's a witch.
He's
such a great guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's at White Oaks, Thorold, and Niagara Falls. He's got.
I'm thinking of the one NHRC Niagara Health and Rehab Center on Hanover.
Maybe it's not Jeff Gamble. I don't know why I just geeked like that, but.
Sorry, but it helped. It unfroze, and you're better.
So there's some forms I couldn't do. So I get halfway through the class and talk about sweating. Now it's 102 degrees and humid. I just sit.
Yeah.
Just sit down. And it was, dude, after a half an hour of exertion and then going, okay, I'm done. I'm just going to sit here quietly. It was all I could do to remain in the room.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like at the edge. Talk about, we talked about David Blaine. I wish we could spend some more time on that. The mind frame, the mindset that you're in, and you're going, I can't get up and walk out of here.
Yeah.
Because you screw with everyone else's flow, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I'm going to pass out.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. And you work through it, and you realize how much your mind literally fucks with you all the time.
Yeah.
Quit now. You're a loser. You're not worthy.
Yeah.
Quit. Walk out. You need some fresh air. Here's a bunch of excuses I can give you.
Yeah.
You're medically compromised. You could die. Get out of here. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm cool. Just breathe. So they put me in a nice spot, but then I did about 30 days of it, not in a row. I did half of the days, and by the end I could almost complete the exercises.
Cool. Oh, that's huge, man. That's huge.
But I'm telling you, it tweaks you. It's like you walk out of that yoga studio and you're a new human being because you sweat the old one out.
Yeah.
Like, showered and clean. You're a fresh soul.
Yeah.
And you feel so free, and you go and you're like, I remember opening my door and going, oh, driving a car? All that exhaust. Like, I should be getting on a bike because it doesn't feel right after all the good I just did in that room.
Yeah, why am I driving? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then junk food.
Yeah.
Booze, drugs, whatever the fucking, even your phone.
Yeah.
You've been away from it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You could, like, just doing a 1 hour hot yoga class, and you come out and you're like, fuck Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck pizza. I'm going to have a salad.
That consciousness changes, yeah. Maybe we get a salad after this. You just changed my mind.
I got a salad ready, actually.
You pardon?
I got a salad ready. We can do that.
Yeah?
Yeah,
All right.
I got the bacon.
I love that. I haven't had a fresh
Parmesan.
salad in
We'll
too
do a
long.
Caesar. Yeah. Let's do
man.
it. Good call. I prepared all that shit yesterday, and then I didn't get to it. I ate something else. I had some shitty pizza instead.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, let's do salad. Yeah, no, you know what? I think one of my favorite stories on this note is Tony Robbins' wife. At one point, I think they were in Italy, and he had a great realization from this because they're very much conscientious of feeding their bodies with healthful ideas and food. And at one point, his wife got gelato, and Tony looks at his wife and says, "What, really, gelato? Like that's?" And she goes, essentially, like and he's saying this in a live event in Toronto, but she essentially said to him, like, Tony, shut up. Like, I'm a human too. Like, I can live my life. It's okay to enjoy gelato. And that's, that's true, right? Enjoy the friggin' gelato, man. Have some fucking pizza. It's fine.
Matthew James. Did you finish your point?
What's he saying? Yeah, I think so. I
He
don't know.
says, do a trick.
Do a trick.
Do a trick,
Do a
dance
trick.
monkey.
Dance, monkey, dance. That's a great song. Tones and
That's a good song.
Ah, man.
I just found that song. Oh, hang on a sec. Great show, guys. Been waiting for this episode. Oh, yeah. Anthony Sweet does personify his name for sure. Anthony Sweet. No, a friend of mine is getting electroshock therapy for depression.
I was going to say for mental health thing.
She, her SSRIs stop working.
Okay.
Every 2 months to 2 years. Sometimes she'll get 2 years out of them, but they just stop working.
Yeah.
And she wants to kill herself.
Yeah. So,
quick story. Her family convinces her, she lives alone too. She's not married, no kids. She wants to off herself. Like literally, she's got a plan. So, her sister and her family, her mother and dad and whatever on the phone say, just go. Just go to the hospital. Just please, don't do it. Like she's literally calling them to say goodbye. Go to the hospital. She goes to the hospital. Yeah, I want to kill myself. Okay. Well, have you got a doctor? Yeah. Are you on medications? Yeah. Go home.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean go home? I'm admitting myself because I'm in a distressed mental health state.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent her home.
Yeah.
Next episode.
Yeah.
They talk her into going to the hospital again. She goes to the hospital. We've been through the whole, do you have a doctor? Are you on medication? Yes. Do you have a plan? That was it? Yeah, I got a plan. Does the plan have a date? No.
Go home.
Go home.
Yeah.
This is like, I didn't even know how bad Niagara is.
I get goosebumps, man.
For mental health. I had no clue what is lacking in the Niagara region for our mental health experts and help.
It's bad, man. I can't.
The third time, she showed up and said, I don't plan on making it through the weekend. And yes, I've got a plan, admitted.
Yeah, come on in. Yeah.
And so they switched her drugs, and I hope this turns out, one of my dear friends, known her since high school. She was actually one of my best friends' girlfriends in high school. And we still hang out. She's a wicked chick, and we know each other. And just you know me. I don't pretend for anyone, but she's just real. Just no act, no nothing. So while she was in the hospital, they told her that she was actually a good candidate for electroshock therapy because she'd been on these antidepressants, these SSRI. What are they? Serotonin reuptake
inhibitors.
Serotonin reuptake inhibitors or whatever. Yeah, so they fuck with your serotonin levels, or they help it or whatever. So because she'd been on many medications that failed her, eventually they said that she'd be a good candidate for this, and I was devastated when she told me, because I didn't know what it was. But ECT is
electrocardiographic therapy.
Convulsive.
Oh, electroconvulsive? Okay.
Yeah, so they wire your brain.
Oh, dude,
they put you to sleep, and then they shock you into what's when you have
a convulsion,
a seizure.
Like a seizure, yeah.
They shock you into a short seizure. I don't know how many times, and then bring you out.
Sounds like
I was devastated because I'm like, dude, are you kidding? She goes, Jim, it's my own. I want to live normal, and if it's my only, and I know my mother said this on her death, last decision that ultimately killed her. Well, if it's my only hope, might as well take the radiation or the chemotherapy. She took the oral chemotherapy. It was ugly. Blisters all inside her mouth and her hands and feet. And it was fucking disgusting. Yeah. And my mother was one of those people that said, I'll never do that. Yeah. Quality over quantity. You want me to live longer? Fuck you. I don't want blisters inside my mouth. And then she took it. And I remember I was bringing her home from Hamilton, from Jervinsky. where they were giving her the brain radiation because it turned out she had 11 lesions on her brain. They missed it. They misdiagnosed her in St. Catharines. They missed it. They found lung cancer. It was in her kidney. And then once they opened her up, it just went. Next time they looked at her, she had it all over her brain. But she always said, "You know what? No, I'll never take that." But when it push came to shove, and the doctor said, "This is your only hope for survival," she took the fucking drugs, and it killed her. But she's been feeling better. They discontinued the program, obviously, for COVID. And I talked to her the other day, and she said, "Yeah, like I always, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how you doing mentally?" And she, so I always ask probing questions because she's a good kid. She's my friend.
Sure.
And after hanging with her a few times, and this is another person that came back into my life. I'd been gone for decades.
Yeah.
Called me over real estate.
Yeah.
Again, I was a realtor with her husband. I was a realtor with her husband when they split. And then, oh shit, her last house she didn't buy through me. I don't know how that one slipped through the crack, but she was thinking about taking a job in Hamilton or Toronto, and she wanted an appraisal on her house. So I went over and gave her an appraisal, and we drank way too much. And I think I stayed, I stayed over because I wasn't driving home. And then, now she's back in my life. Oh, because, well, who else am I going to call? I'm like, yeah, thank you. And then she told me that. I was devastated, but she's been doing all right anyways. And I go, like, are you all right enough that you can stop the therapy? Therapy. I'm going to shock you into a seizure with the hope that it alleviates your depression.
Yeah. Man, I did. So I wound up in, because earlier you said, the system's bad. I was there, man. I was there firsthand. I was there for 3 days. I was there on a Form 1. It was a 72-hour psych hold.
Form 1.
Niagara Health. This is just what it's called. It's when.
So you go admit yourself?
The cops are convinced, or you admit yourself, and then the doctor's convinced. Usually it's an authority that comes along and says, "Okay, I think you're serious. Let's get you help." I got to that point. And what's interesting about this story, where it will resonate with you, and I'm sorry to say with your friend, and both of us are still here, knock on wood. That's great, and I'm happy for her. I'm happy for myself. I called 2 weeks before, or maybe 3 weeks before, my relationship fell apart, my housing situation fell apart, my entire world crumbled. I'm rebuilding, and I'm in a good place. About 3 weeks before what I'll call the tipping point, I had a kind of a mini crisis. I'll call it that. It was bad, but the people in my life at that point went, "Dude, you need to call the hospital." And I went, "Yeah," because I was constantly drinking. I had a little crisis. Let's leave it at that. And I didn't hurt myself. I didn't hurt anybody else, not physically anyway. But I was like, I need help. This is not good. I'm not in a good place. And I called the hospital, and not 911. I just called like the non-emergency number, like the hospital number, and I asked to get to the right channels. And I said, what can I do? Like, I know COVID's happening, but is there any resources that you can point me to? And get this, man. First, I was greeted with, "No, like there's nothing we can do for you unless you're showing symptoms of something, that might be COVID. Come and get tested." Essentially, was the first thing I heard was if you feel like you have COVID symptoms, come in. Otherwise, if you're feeling like just kind of sad and depressed, stay the fuck at home. Right? That was kind of the thing. I kept escalating the call. I said, "Can I speak to someone else? Can I speak to someone in mental health?" And I was on the phone for a while because I cared. And I didn't want to show up because at the same time, at that point, I wanted to be respectful of the health system because COVID and I don't want to overbear. I know they're already swamped with stuff and people, right? Side point, there are people that aren't being diagnosed with cancer and terminal diseases because they are feeling the same way I was feeling. So this isn't bullshit. Like, this is real shit that a lot of people are doing. Like, "Oh, I don't want to go there because I don't want to overburden the system." Dude, if someone had pointed me out and they said, "We don't have anything," okay, well, can you point me in the direction? I can email you a list of resources, because I tried Googling some stuff. Nothing was in my budget though for private therapy or private counseling or help. At that point there was, and I wanted it immediately. I wanted it because I knew I was just like a drain. I'll email. Can you give me your email? Dude, I never got an email. I've checked my spam. I've checked my junk, to this day. Eventually, about 3 weeks later, I don't mind being a little graphic, but it came to the point where I was carrying out my plan, and there was a knock on the door, and it was cops. And one of my best friends essentially saved my life because he was so worried, and he made the right call. And he tried to follow me. He didn't want to involve the police. He's on his way to being a police officer. He wanted to try and find me. He couldn't see me. He didn't know where I was. He couldn't find me. He alerted the authorities. The cops found me. But had they showed up 2 minutes later, I don't know that I'd be sitting in this chair right now. I couldn't tell you for 100% because they literally interrupted me. That's where I was, July 12th.
Wow.
So, talk about being vulnerable. So I'm sorry that what your friend went through, man. I'm sorry that but I can say with you seeing here, yes, the system is fucked up because I was in there for 3 days. I can tell you firsthand what it looks like. All the programs, and I'll call them programs in air quotes because whether that's group talk or, the therapy dogs that come in or the coloring activities with like someone that colors but comes in and teaches you art, whatever it is, all of it is shut down. In 3 days, I saw a doctor for 5 minutes a day. So a total of 15 minutes. Nurses check in with you. How are you feeling today? They do your vitals. There was nothing else. I got out of there as soon as I could. And luckily I have a hypnotherapist in my life who's at the time was not my therapist. She was a friend of a friend. But I said, I don't know how else to get help because of COVID and what's going on in the world. Help. And I had someone. And for 2 weeks, I was there working it in this like intensive program of like, we're going to fix this. We're going to make this better. And I did hypnosis almost every day to undo the unconscious programming because COVID isn't the cause. The whole self-isolation pandemic. No. I had pre-existing shit that I was just, working with. What I think COVID did was...
Or had buried.
Buried, yeah. Buried / somehow coping with. But eventually my coping mechanisms, i.e. performing, i.e. seeing friends, little escapes, turned to, no, stay the fuck at home. Well, that's like some invisible force holding us like a glass, like a magnifying glass to the sun, except the sun in this case is all your demons, and this is COVID, and then you're the ant right here, right? And you're going, oh shit, right? I have to live with this. I don't like this version of me. I don't like who I am, and it forced me to look. So, man, I'm sorry that your friend went through that. That's my final point. Is I'm sorry. I don't agree with that treatment, and I someone in a lab coat, white coat, your doctor says, oh, this is your only chance of hell. Tell me why she's a clinical hypnotherapist, but she's not a PhD, she's not an MD. She's got a master's in clinical hypnotherapy, sure. But tell me why someone in 2 weeks can do more for my mental health. I'm able to take a deep breath now, relax without needing a drink. I stopped smoking. There's so... And
I didn't know you were banging butts.
Oh, yeah. I hid it from everyone. I hid it. Yeah, I started when I was 16.
Oh, really?
I hid it from everyone. Yeah. Because, the magician, right? The mind reader, this guy that likes to be fit and active.
It's amazing what we'll do to keep the mask on, eh? Keep everyone fooled.
Mask, yeah. So, man, I have a lot of sins to atone for. Still, I have a lot within myself with damage I did outside of myself, with friendships, relationships, in terms of, like, who I became. But what I will say is I really hope that people can start to see, like, yeah, if something in your gut is telling you, okay, I'm not well, fight for that help. Fight for answers, because your friend, even though it took 3 times, eventually got admitted. Okay, do I agree with ECT being the answer? Likely not. However, I'm not a doctor, and if that's what she thinks she needs to do, I hope she does it because it might help her.
I can't judge. All I could do is be concerned for her, and I'm like,
yeah.
Do you pray?
Yeah.
She goes, well, not really. I go, well, do you believe in a higher power? She goes, oh, yeah, definitely. It's just not like God, like you might. And I'm just like, well, ask. Just ask to be healed. Over and over, meditate on it. Do you meditate? Yes. Yeah. You ever meditate on this? No. Well,
yeah.
Worst things, strange things that happen.
People call it
sometimes you just say, heal me.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's 6 months later and you're going, wait a second.
What the hell? Yeah. People call it hypnosis.
That thing I was praying to be relieved of is gone and I didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
Because when it's gone, you're like,
Wait a second.
You know, when your back hurts in the morning, you wake up, you're like, oh, my back hurts. Yeah. When you wake up and you don't have a sore back, you don't think, oh, my back feels great today.
Yeah. That's the point I want to get to, though. That's the point that I'm actively trying to get to, is that point of, you know what, my back doesn't hurt today. Focusing on that, because I think yourself, like you as in Jim, myself, Alex, both of us, I think, can learn to do that better, because that's the point. That's that, you know, people might call it nirvana. That, I think that's a step closer to that kind of nirvana, or that heaven state. Again, prayer, meditation, hypnosis, I feel like in very many ways those things are just different words for the same thing. And I think people get caught up in the semantics, right? Mm-hmm. You were telling me, we were kind of joking and laughing about you went off on someone that offended you based on your religion, man. And that there's people that I look at Don Cherry, you know, he says something and people, we get so caught up in the bullshit details, you know, like, and that there's that quote, the devil's in the details, and people make it sound like, oh, you know, read the fine print because the devil's in the details. What I have come to learn is that the devil is literally in the details. Like, you can do so much better in your life by just fuck off. Like, I don't care about the specifics. Just, you know, what's the general point? I don't care if it's Jesus or Allah, as long as you're not hurting anybody. That I'm cool, man. Just
the
be
whole
cool.
idea is if you're flubbing the details, then you think your game is going to be good? Like, you got to practice. You got to get good at it.
Yeah.
And the details are important, like
Sure.
your sleep and your health and your mental all that kind of stuff. And then you can't just fake the details and then show up and think, oh, I'm going to have my game on, because it's all about the details. Yeah. And that's one thing that, you know, I need to get better at as well, because, you know, even a show like this, I don't prepare a thing. I have no notes, and we've done over 2 hours now, and it's easier when you've got someone here because the conversation flows, right?
Sure.
I love you. You're an interesting guy. You say something that triggers me. I say something that triggers you. The conversation flows back and forth. But even when I do a show, like on Thursday nights, I don't have a guest. You came in this week. You killed the first 15 minutes of my show. Killed. Like, it was good. It was a nice little promo. Sure. I have nothing. Yeah. I have nothing. So, and I remember the worst thing is being on the radio and being thrown into an hour. Like, hey, Jimmy, go. I'm like, oh, okay, I can go. There's no problem, but I've got no net.
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to go on?
Yeah.
You know, I can just read my tweets.
Yeah.
And I got topic after topic after topic. But then you waste all your tweets and you put them all out there, then and this is what I'm thinking. Less tweets, more notes. Mm-hmm. Make your shit about your show, and because I won't practice. I won't rehearse. Got 2 guitars over there. Yeah. I can play the D chord, but that's it. Yeah. You know, I've been playing guitar for 5 years. I can play D. Yeah. That's how much I've been playing it for 5 years. Yeah.
That's
but just, you know,
man.
I'm just, you know, and then
I have
doing
all
this
30 years.
I have all this evidence to prove that my lie is actually true. Yeah. The lie, you know, my lie might be, fuck it, I hate people. Right. I don't hate people. You know me. I love people. That's the problem. That's why I'm so passionate about most things. Anyways,
this might be a conversation for a follow-up show, man.
Yeah,
because
it's a good exit out.
You started to go into a place of vulnerability there. I saw it for a second.
If you're there, I'm waiting for you to come on the show. You sit right over there where Alex is. You pick up this little guitar, and you make me happy. Yeah, and play me some music. All right, bro. I think that's about it. All right, we're gonna have a salad. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have a salad. Thanks for having me on, buddy. Love you lots.
Love you too, man. Peace, love, and hug your neighbor. We're out.